Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 19 playthrough with the Phillies. We are into the 2036 season. I went ahead and simmed through that first month. Last episode we finished up spring training and I set the rosters and lineups, but I just wanted to make sure how we're playing before I got back and did another episode. And we are through till May 5th. 2016, 28 games into the season, we are straight up at 500, which our goal from the manager, pretty generous, is to play close to 500 ball. It's been basically a tale of two teams so far in this first month, and I'll show you what I'm talking about right off the bat. Offensively, you can see we're first in the National League in a few categories, several categories. Runs scored, on-base percentage, batting average, stolen bases. We're second or third in a couple. That's really good. I mean, that's if you're seeing that kind of thing from your offense, then you got to get offense. Typically, the only thing that we're struggling a little bit in is home runs, and to me, that's fine with the other numbers. I'm not too concerned about that. But then on the flip side, pitching, we are easily the worst pitching staff in the National League, if not the majors. Starters ERA 5.33, which puts us dead last in the National League. Earned run average in general 4.75 is dead last. We're 14th or 15th in several categories. Our defensive efficiency is not good. So all in all, we've got a tough balance there. That's hard to overcome. And when the season started, just looking at the pitching staff, I thought the bullpen was going to be okay. And looking back, just bouncing back a little bit, the bullpen ERA is 3.73, currently 11, so it's a little bit better. But the starting staff, really weak. I've got Madrak, who, honestly, the way he started, 6.23 ERA. He's had a couple of good starts, but he's been really a stinker in most of the starts he's made this year so far. He's overpriced at $18 million, so this is going to be a bust. And just for me, I don't doubt that I'll be able to trade him away by the deadline, but I'm just going to have to weather it and get through the year with this guy. And then other than him, everybody on the team was like 2.5 stars max. Even Danny McSparron, I had him after spring training. I had him in that second spot in rotation. He's definitely not that high up, or shouldn't be that high up on the list, and I think he's paying for that. He's the same deal with Madrak, a 6.97 ERA and 6 starts, just been terrible. So what I did going into the start of the season, right after that last episode, I don't think I may have made the claim or put in the claim before I ended the episode, but I went for Camden Hartling, who is a 3-star pitcher that Atlanta had put on waivers. The guy's got great stamina, 3 solid pitches, 4 total. And aside from movement, which I know that's going to equate usually to a lot of home runs, his numbers look good. So I went with him, and for the most part, he has been, I put him in that second spot because rated with the rest of the pitchers I had, the starting pitchers I had, that's where he fit. But he's been better than Madrak or McSparron, but he's not going to rescue the team. I don't think either. Lugo, just a 2.5 star pitcher. The thing on him is the amount of strikeouts. At one point he was on pace for 300 plus. He's now on pace for 272. But other than that, his ERA is fairly high. Hannibal has not looked that great overall. So the starting rotation is really screwed up right now. Furlong, I moved him into long relief, and I still think he's a better option there, to be honest. And he's looked pretty good. He wants to be in the starting rotation, but I don't think he doesn't have a great stamina, and he's only got really 2 solid pitches. And I think for a starting pitcher, you need 3 or more. So that's how the pitching is looking, and that's why we're struggling overall. Even though the record's 500, I don't really expect us to keep that going if that pitching doesn't improve. And then if I look at the lineups, some guys here playing really good, namely Vargas. Um, love-hate relationship continues. He's off to a great start. I don't expect him to keep this up, but he's really off to the best start I've seen from him in several years. The only thing is his defense is suspect, especially at center. I think he's going to be a better defender at left, but kind of loaded at left with Villa and Tipton, even Dutch. I mean, those guys can play left; they just can't play center. So that's going to be a crutch I think I'm going to have to deal with for a while until Vargas either I make some moves, pick up a true center fielder, move Vargas over, or until Vargas leaves the team. Koopman has looked good offensively, getting most of the starts in short. He's hitting over 300 right now. He had like a 15-game hitting streak at one point. Maz looking okay, averaged just a little bit below 300. Quarteng looking good. Cochran, who I put in there at first for now, he's looked good at times. I expect his average should be a little bit better, and as the season goes on, I expect it will with that contact rating. We'll see anyway, but I think I'm okay riding him out as the starter right now. And the rest of the team, I don't see anything except for maybe Van Singel, and he's just a bench player. I don't see anything that's really alarming to me. Bess also, he's just, we're really early, so I'm not too upset with some of the performances that I'm seeing offensively. It's just that starting rotation that's got to improve. So what I'm going to do this episode is I'm going to sim through maybe through the next month and see if we can improve and see kind of like what we're going to look at like as a team for the rest of the year. So next series is going to be at Miami, who currently lead the division, just a half game over Atlanta. And we lose that first one, 1-3. So actually a pretty good pitching performance relatively. So Koopman got a hit, Vargas 2 for 4. Hartling, not too bad, 11 Ks, 7 innings, 3 runs. So that's not terrible. Padgett has really struggled in the bullpen too. I'm hoping that he'll get better as the season goes on. I mean, his ratings show that he should be a little bit better. So second game against Miami, and we're a game below 500 now because of that. So we win 5-2. Already got a trade proposal, but let me look at this game first. Vargas another hit, Lohman 2 for 4, Cochran a couple RBIs, and then pitching. Madrak 7 strong innings from him, just 2 runs. Espinal the 6th save. So Madrak, he's on pace for 15 wins, but that ERA's got to get better. 57 home run pace too. He gave up a league-leading 40 last year, and that's odd because he's an extreme ground ball pitcher. He's got decent movement. I don't know why this guy's struggling so much right now. But let's look at this trade proposal. It's another relief pitcher. Is this guy? He's a borderline starter, but he would not make it as a starter. He's only got 2 solid pitches, and they're wanting Quarteng, so no to that. And the draft pool's been revealed, and let me look and see what our draft order. We're going to be picking 14th. Depends on the... Get a drink here, but it depends on the pool, obviously. But 14th pick, I'm probably going to be getting into some, 3-star potential territory at that point. So don't really expect the draft to make a whole lot of impact for me this year. So that's a ways away, though. Let's go back to the games. So we lose the series against Miami pretty big. They're 5-11 in that last game. Ma drove in 3, but the rest of the offense was pretty bad. McSparron, another terrible game. So his ERA is up to 7.90. And I did sign him to a 3-year extension last year. Thought it was a bargain, and it would be a bargain. I still maintain it would be a bargain if I could put this guy in like the 5th spot in that rotation, which is, I think, where his ceiling is, and that's where he needs to be. So some scouts finding a few people. So now we're going to be going up against the Mets, looks like, on the road again. And we're one game below 500. The Mets are at 500, so we are dead last in the National League East. First game, we lose 3-6. Kwarteng, pretty decent game from him, but Hannibal, 4 runs and 5 2/3. And then second game, 3-5. Not much positives in this one. Looks like Lugo, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts. So this guy's K numbers are still high, but not good. So we just had a terrible week. I mean, I think 1-6 is that how we finished? But we were swept by the Mets. Ma, pretty good game from him. 3 for 4, 4 RBIs. Vargas looks like he was injured, a minimal injury, and Hartling, 6 runs in 4 innings. Let me look at the news real quick. So we got American League, Steve Jones was Player of the Week. This guy's off to a great start. He's a veteran who's been had some injury problems throughout his career, but he's hitting .413 right now, and that's pretty good. I mean, we're a month and a half through the season. Steve Martin, the Player of the Week in the National League, and then we are 27th in performance, and mainly that is because we've lost 4 straight, 3 of 7. Really, really struggling right now. I want to look and make sure there's nobody. I'm going to try to keep up tabs on that waiver wire. Don't see anything really major there right now. So we're going to start a series at home against San Francisco and lose the first one 4-8. So we are on a, what is it, a 5-game losing streak. Madrak was okay, but bullpen, Montalvo. I wonder if I can get anything for this guy. He's signed through this year. I think it is time to start dumping a lot of players because I'm not gonna really make too much of an impact this year. I don't think with this pitching staff, and I'm not getting anything for him, unfortunately. Let's see. I wonder if I could get something for Madrak that would make it worthwhile. He's a free agent at the end of this year, and $18 million. That's probably gonna scare some teams away. So let's see, see what we got here. Diego Medina, former Philly, who's got a really big contract. I'm not sure why the Braves did that. $14 million. Eric Porter. No to that. I'm probably just going to have to eat his contract for the most part. Yeah, nothing's really coming up here that makes me want to pull the trigger. Here's Josh Yoakum, former pitcher for the Phillies. Struggling a little bit now, even though his individual ratings aren't that bad. He's just not doing too well. So Madrak, right now anyway, he's not going to give me any value. All right, I'm pretty sure all of the free agents, yeah, no starters and free agents. So let's go back to the series against San Francisco. So a pretty good win here to snap our losing streak, 6-1. Vargas back with a good game, but he's still minimal injury for 4 more days. Pitching wise, McSparran finally a good game. 5 innings, just 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Needed that from him. And Juan Renaga out. I mentioned this a little bit last season. One of the things that I think you have to be careful about with out-of-the-park baseball, something I've noticed, is if you have these guys, spark plug personality is one I see quite a bit, and they've got great speed, and they can be really great all-around players. I think sometimes what happens is, especially earlier in their career, if you go into the strategy settings, which I can't do on this guy, but if you go into the strategy settings and you make him aggressive base runners, or or kind of do all the settings that let me see if I can show you one on my team. And this is kind of sidetracked, but at this point we're not going to really. Let's just look at Koopman, for instance, who has some good speed. So if I went in here and did his game strategy and set him up to frequently stealing bases, aggressive base running, a lot of times I see players wind up getting injured. And especially, a guy like Renaga, who is a superstar in the league. He's young. I've seen it, I think, in several playthroughs. I think I've seen it with Mike Trout. I think he gets injured a lot in out-of-the-park baseball 19 because he's probably set to be an aggressive base runner, for instance, or his steal ratings are set pretty high, or frequency set pretty high. And I just see a lot more injuries for the players on my roster who I've gone through and made those adjustments. So if you got a guy like Renaga, it might be a good idea. And again, I can't see what his game settings are, but I think it would be unless I can go to the editor, but it's turned off because I'm in challenge mode. But I think you probably want to be careful with these guys and baby them a little bit. And it's something I wish I had done with some of my, like Vargas. I probably got him pretty aggressive base running even still, and I think that's kind of, he's frequently stealing, a little bit aggressive on the bases, but that's probably why he picks up a little bit more injuries than most, because it seems like a lot of those injuries happen running the bases and things like that. And that's just something I've kind of observed, and it's probably my experience, may not be yours, but just to give you a heads up. And one of the things too, I just realized I've still got LaRue out there, who was a good pitcher for me last year. He's a couple months away from coming back. I hope I've got him signed for, 2 more at least years. This year, next year's a player option. So I'm hoping that this guy comes back healthy, but I'm not holding my breath on it because he has a pretty big injury that he was gone for like 10 months or so. But that might help their pitching staff for sure to get him back. So third game against San Francisco. This is a 4-game series, and we win 5-3. So we're back just 3 games below 500. Villa, pretty good game in this one. 2-2-2-2 across the line. Padilla got the start at first. He's looking pretty good in backing up. I've got him starting every once in a while there. And Hannibal, pretty decent game. Espinal, his 7th save. So we're at least going to split the series here. And let's go ahead. Last game against San Francisco, we lose 1-8. So we got hammered in that one. So we're back to 17-21. Quartang 3 for 4, but the rest of the team not so good. Lugo, 8 strikeouts, but 4 earned runs in 5 innings. Not sure if this guy's going to make it either. If I had better staff, I probably tops he would be a 5th starter on staff. And another thing that I've maybe got to take into account here is I have a new pitching coach this year, Calvin Maduro. This is his first year with us. He's got a pretty spotty track record, and I knew that kind of when I signed him. He had a good run there in the late 20s, 28, 29, 30 with Oakland. His last season with Oakland was pretty bad. So he was the best available option at the time, but I only signed him for a year. I signed him for a couple years. I really don't know if this guy is going to be a long-term solution either. It might be something where I want to. I don't know if there's anybody out there available now, but I may also want to take a look at upgrading that pitching coach. And right now we have Adam Butler, who was with the Phillies, but I let him go because again, he was great with the Nationals, but for us he had a string of just really poor years. I mean, we were not as poor as we're having this year, but not great. Even in our best years, the team ERA was still above 4. So hopefully at the end of the year, maybe there'll be some better options, but right now there's just not too much out there. So let's go to the Washington Nationals. We're at home, 3-game series. Win the first one, 9-7. Great game from Ma. His average is down to 270 though. He's been struggling lately. Cochran, his average is down to 254. Same with him. Tipton 250. So our offense is starting to struggle. Hartling got the win, but it wasn't very sharp. 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs. Espinal got his 8th save. See if there's any big news there. So second game against Washington, we lose 5-6, and got a minor league injury. Ron Rivera, he's going to be gone for a while, but not a big player. So Vargas 2 for 5, still got his average above 300, and he's back healthy now. But Madrak 5 runs in 7 innings. So pitching still struggling, and then we lose the last game 3-9. Whew. So we're now down to 18-23. McSparren, a poor game. Rozier, a poor game as well. Whew. So I'm going to finish this week, see what it looks like. Okay, American League Player of the Week, Jake Brantuver, Sean Bowen. I'm not familiar with those two guys. And weekly power rankings were 26th. We've 3-7 in our last 10. So I think the collapse is on. Last year was pretty bad, but I'm thinking this year's we're just not going to do anything much above where we're at right now. And a lot of that's going to have to do with the budget that I'm stuck with, So I want to go ahead and look at our team stats. So we've slipped quite a few places here in the offense. I thought that was happening, but we've gotten even worse in pitching. 6-11 so far for the month of May. So let's move ahead. We're going to be at New York. Got a lot of injuries going on in the minors too. And this is the Yankees. 2-game series. We'll lose the first one 2-4. Lohman's going to be injured now for a week. Day-to-day injury. Hannibal, 6 innings, 4 runs. And let's see. Game 2. Let's see if we can split this series. We don't. 4-9. And we're going to be playing Milwaukee. Milwaukee, we're on the road against Milwaukee, but Milwaukee is a few games below 500 as well. Six runs in 5 innings for Lugo. First game against Milwaukee, we win 2-0. That's pretty good. Got a trade proposal there coming in too. Loban played through the pain, got a home run in this one. Drac, solid game from him. 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, no runs. Espinal, his ninth save. Let's see what this trade proposal is. It's from Arizona. No, they're wanting Ma for basically a relief pitcher. So that's not going to happen. It gets a little frustrating too at times with the AI offers you get. Primarily, they're never really even competitive most of the time. So we win second game 9-4. Vargas 2 for 3 in this one. Villa had a good game. He's having a good year so far. Pitching wise, Hartling 5 innings, 3 runs, didn't get the win. Went to Rozier. And now third game against Milwaukee, 8-6. Big injury here in the minors. This was a former first-round pick. He's going to be down now for 2 to 3 months. So that was didn't want to see that. But 8-6. Vargas a good game. 2 for 3, scored a couple runs. Ma drove in 4 runs, but his average still struggling, 262. Cochran 3 for 4, pretty good from him. Ma is going to be, he's got that player option next season, and I don't know. I mean, he might be a guy to shop around really at this point, because as much as I like the guy offensively, I think it is really time to get seriously into this rebuild. So let's see. Josh Gordon, pretty good first baseman there, but very high contract. So a lot of offers here for Ma. Kurt Hines. I hate seeing these relievers that are kind of rated as starters, because you make a trade for them. I really would caution you on that. You'll pick up a guy and you'll look at him as, oh, he's a starter and he's a 3-star, 3.5-star potential starting pitcher, but that's because he is currently set as a relief pitcher. And if you take him on, if you trade for him, and then you change, there'll be a set position here. If you set him back to the starting pitcher, his rating might go down to 2, 2.5 max, or some of these individual ratings will even take a dive. So it's, for me, I don't like trading for a starting pitcher unless he's rated as a starting pitcher. Like Joe Duncan, this guy, these are his ratings as a starting pitcher. So I trust him more. If I'm trading for him to be a starter, I can trust that rating a little bit more. Same with Penfield here. Although I don't like his numbers for the most part, I can trust that that's for starting pitcher. All right, so those are probably pretty much the tops I guess I'm going to be looking at. Nothing that really makes me want to trade. And Josh Gordon might be the best player offered, really. But $20 million back end on the salary, that's a little bit too much for me. Penfield, he's got some good, from my scout anyway, but his controls maxed out where it is right now at 10, and that third pitch is not there yet. So Bobby Holmes, closer. It's a player of Ma's caliber. This is really pretty sad that these are the choices that I've got. But I might could work with a team, or especially if I take a look at the trading block, which is probably going to have a lot of the same players. But I might be able to work with a team. Yeah, it looks like it's about the same players, but and get a better deal, like maybe two players And that's something in the next episode or so, as we get closer to the trading deadline, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do with this one, because I'm not really expecting too much positives to happen. So now this last game against Milwaukee, can we sweep them? And we do, 7-3. Was that a sweep? Let me make sure. Did we lose the first one? Yeah, 4-game sweep of Milwaukee. So that's positive. Villa is going to be hurt. This guy's probably going to be just an injury risk. Regardless, I think I need to probably put him on the DL at this point. So Hannibal gave me a good game. He didn't pick up the win, but 7 innings, 3 runs. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that, because I can't really afford to lose this guy like I lost him last year. I'll put him on the disabled list for 10 days. I'm going to probably bring up, oh boy. Let's bring up Cordray here. And just see if his bat's okay. And then I'll probably go with, even though Stern, he's like he's rated pretty low. Let's just go with Stern for now. And Cordray I'll put in there to start, maybe like every 6th game, and have him pitch hit a little bit here. Well, put Cordray there. That should work. Alright, almost done here. Sorry about this. Alright, that'll do it for now. But let's take a look at the news. After that week, we may have climbed a few spots in the team rankings, but Chris James is going to be gone for Atlanta for 4 to 5 weeks. That was a gamble I figured was probably going to happen with him. Renaga, 5 hits. This guy's off to another great start. On pace for 77 home runs. And we're about to play Atlanta, so that's good. Player of the Week, Eric Johns in the American League. National League, Renaga, no surprise. Pitching rookie leaders in OPS, opponents' OPS, so we're on that list, and we're on the high side, and that's probably just because maybe that's those are the only pitchers who qualify with that innings pitched or something. But we did move up to 17th, so that puts us, we've won 4 in a row, won 5 of 10. Vargas still on the leaderboard for stolen bases, but and his average is still pretty good, 320. But that's about it. I don't think we'll see many more Phillies on these leaderboards for a while. Let me check the waiver wire. Nothing there. So let's go ahead and get started on this next week against Atlanta. We lose the first game 5-8. And J.J. Lohman hit his 300th career home run, and it looks like he's back healthy, so that's good. He's off the pace this year, just on pace for 20 home runs, but he's signed for another few years. There's a player option in 2039. I expect, or after that 2038 season, I expect that he'll probably go for that. At that point, I think if he's still around, if he hasn't really collapsed ratings-wise since, but before then. But here's a trade proposal from San Francisco, and somebody wanting Ma again, and it's San Francisco. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I'll take it back. So this is they have got him rated as a starter. So he looks pretty solid, 3 stars. Got some good personality ratings. And in 10 starts, he's having a good year this year. 5 solid pitches. What scares me about him, though, is he's a free agent in a couple years. Well, they signed him to 2 more years. If he was just a little bit stronger, I might go for that. But I think Ma is a much better player than that. He's a 4-star, and I just think that he brings a lot more value to a team than that. So that is a much better offer, though, than the one I got previously. So some trades happening already. Let's go ahead. We're at home against Atlanta. How did this game go? Vargas 2 for 3. Cochran's 2 for 5. He's not hitting for the average I thought he would be at this point. Quarting, his average is up there, but production is not too good. Lugo, 7th loss, 6 earned runs in 4 innings. Oof, stinking, really bad. Second game we lose 3-6. Van Singel was injured, so we're having some injury problems as well. Not too many long-term injuries so far, thankfully, but I hope that doesn't become a trend the full season. Tipton also struggling. His average is down to 238, 239. Madrak, another bad game, 5 runs in 6 innings. So Atlanta's really owning us this year. They're first in the division now, tied with New York, and we are 22-27. And we salvage it in a big way. We win that last game of the series. Big injury, though, Kurt Catula, who starts out the year in AAA. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. He's a guy who I would think might get a chance to come up if we get some injury problems. But let's see how we win against Atlanta. Vargas not too sharp. Did score a couple runs, but Stern 3 for 6. He's hitting 323. Maybe he should be playing more time in right for Tipton. The rest of the lineup: Koopman 4 for 5, Cochran 2 for 5, Lohman 2 for 5, Ma 3 for 5, 3 runs, 3 RBIs. So good game overall. Hartling picked up his 4th win, 6 innings, just 3 runs. At this point, that's a good pitching performance from this team. So one more series, and let's probably do it for this episode. We're going to be at home against Tampa Bay, and let's see what their record is like. 28-22. So this should probably be a tough test here. First game we win, though, 7-0, a big shutout, and McSparron got the shutout, which is great news. Stern, another good game, 2 for 3, scored 2, drove in 3. Ma was 2 for 4. McSparron, though, 9 innings, 8 hits, but no runs. Good game from him. And then second game against Tampa Bay, another win, 3-2. Seth Beer has his 2,000th hit. But Vargas, another hit in the game, but we just looks like a scrappy type performance. We several players with just 1 hit, but we managed to get enough runs to win. Hannibal, a good game, 7 innings, just 1 run, and he has 4 wins, so on pace for 12. Looks like a lot of the starting pitchers, are on pace for double digits in wins. But so we're just starting June. Let's take a look at the player update. Madrak down to 3.5 stars. His stamina dropped a little bit. Ben Wright, he's having a pretty decent year. Not being used a whole lot, but 3 stars. He's not. I don't really pay him a whole lot, so that's not too bad. Hannibal, his control is about where it was. His potential stuff rating took a drop. Furlong, wow, if he would just develop that fastball a little bit more, he might have a chance starting. Kwarteng's power rating goes up. Best looks like he improved a couple things there. Ma got even better. I mean, his potential contact power, home run power, those improved. Luvia, his potential power rating went up. I should be getting into some of the prospects here. Aguirre, he's losing some ground there. He was a guy who at one point was a pretty big prospect for me. Luis Contreras, the guy who was injured, he was a former first-round pick. So his ratings are slowly improving. And not a whole lot of positives though in that update there. So let's look at the monthly winners. Luis Guardado was the player of the month, excuse me, batter of the month anyway in the American League. National League, it was Juan Ramirez from the Nationals. This guy's looking pretty good. Kansas City's Phil Carey was the pitcher of the month in the American League, a reliever. And Mike Steele, another reliever in the National League, was pitcher of the month. And then rookies, Jim Kettler for the White Sox and Vic Ray, a center fielder for the Nationals. This guy, he's looking pretty good too. This guy might be a star in the making. So last game against Tampa Bay, see if we can sweep. And we do, 2-1. A big injury to Zach Mullis was a former, not looking as good as he used to, but he was at one point a pretty decent prospect. So we sweep the Rays. Good way to end it. We're back just a game below 500. Lugo, a good game finally from him. Espinal, his 11th save. So Kinsler Jr., Player of the Week in the American League. National League, it went to Vic Ray. And then power rankings, we are 9th. Wow, so we moved up quite a bit. So we've won 8 of 10, 4 in a row. Didn't realize we were on that kind of a streak, but not too bad. I'm still, I think we're gonna have a tough year, but if we get around 500, that's going to be a pretty confident that'll be a positive from the owner. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to go ahead and play through probably through the draft. We'll come back and I'll see how that went for us. With that 14th pick in the pool, probably not going to get an impact player in that one this year. But I'll take a look at that and then probably get up around to the trading deadline. I think I may start entertaining some offers for some of these guys. Lohman, Ma, I think it might be time just to see what's out there. And I'll still try for Madrak, you know, what the heck, and maybe even some of these relievers if I can get anything at this point. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And that'll do it though for now. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.